I feel like I need to read the Divine Comedy. The Divine Comedy. Divine Comedy. The 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 Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. I did promise myself that I wasn't going to let 2025 end without me having read this book.
The Divine Comedy.
Absolutely not! Why would you do this? Where should I even begin? I think no words are necessary for me to explain what's about to happen, what's about to go down. I'm about to make my final ascension into paradise. Is that how you say that? Ascent? I'm about to... ascension. Ascent. I'm about to finish the Divine Comedy, and I simply cannot finish this journey without you guys being here to witness it. I walked through the gates of hell. I climbed the mountain of purgatory. I made my way into paradise, and it has all culminated into tonight. I have 3 cantos left, literally 3, only 3 cantos left. This is how my copy is looking so far. Look at her. This has been in the works for a long time. If you guys remember, my boyfriend did challenge me to read this by the end of August.
To read it before August ends.
Impossible. You know what happened by the end of August? I got COVID. So I really honestly, genuinely do not think I was in the right mindset. I wasn't in the right headspace. I could not put myself through this. I just couldn't. I knew that I had to wait. I knew that even though it meant failing the challenge, ultimately I knew that I wasn't going to fully be able to enjoy my reading experience if I read it in the middle of having to deal with COVID. I decided to put it off. And yes, I did forfeit the reading challenge, but I'm okay with that because now that means that I get to bask in the beauty of this book and truly appreciate the ending to such an epic saga, such an epic journey through hell, through purgatory, and through paradise, which honestly, like, I will get into my thoughts a little bit more into the video, but paradise is definitely the hardest part of the Divine Comedy. I don't even know if was that intentional? Was paradise really supposed to be the place that I wanted to be the least? If you've never heard of the Divine Comedy before, if this is your first time seeing this book in your life, I just wanted to take a quick second to tell you a little bit of the premise or the concept surrounding this book, because it may seem like just a normal classic, but it's truly one of those books that have shaped our society and that have introduced concepts that we use to this day. Like, literally so many books and movies, TV shows, even video games take inspiration from Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. This is definitely a timeless classic that you should all know about and maybe even read one day in your life if you're interested. Maybe this video will inspire you to try it someday. Maybe this video will help you understand that it's honestly not as hard, or it's not as intimidating, it's not as scary as you think it will be. It's a lot more accessible. It's a lot more fun than people make it out to be. The Divine Comedy is a 14th century epic poem written by Dante Alighieri. This poem is split into 3 parts. We have Inferno, Purgatory, and finally Paradise. And we are following Dante as he wakes up in these strange woods in the middle of the night. He has no idea where he is, but all he sees is his favorite person, his favorite author, his favorite everything, Virgil. And Virgil is there telling him that he's going to guide him through hell, and he's going to explain what's going on, and he's going to show him all these different parts and try and answer all of his questions. And it's so fun because I've seen so many people say that the Divine Comedy is basically the OG self-insert fanfic. And I mean, that is a really funny way of seeing it, but I do feel like it's just more than, you know, wish-fulfilling fan fiction because Dante truly saw Virgil as his master and his inspiration. And I think that this was such a great way of showing his love for literature and ancient poetry and showing how this has shaped his own world and his own mindset and set of beliefs and morals. It's also very interesting because Virgil was a pagan, and yet Dante places him in this Christian epic poem. Like, the blend of classical thinking with medieval thinking, it's just, I think it was very brilliantly done, which obviously I'm not saying anything different. Like, this has been talked about, this has been commented for years and years, but I just thought that I would mention it in case you guys haven't heard it because, you know, he didn't just choose Virgil as his tour guide because he loved him and he wanted to spend time with him. It was like so much more than that, and there's so much more depth to his choices, and choosing Virgil as the person that guides Dante through all of this up until paradise is one of the more fascinating choices that Dante made while writing the Divine Comedy. So I really just wanted to mention that because, like, yeah, we love a good old self-insert fanfic, but at the same time, it's like so much more than that. So this is very much an adventure through the underworld, but it's also the spiritual journey of a soul growing closer to God and all of the things that he learns along the way, all of the people that he meets. Some of them are Dante's enemies. Sometimes it's people that Dante didn't even get to meet in real life, but it's people that he assumed would be in those specific spots of either purgatory, paradise, or hell. One thing that you do have to know, and this is why I love this edition specifically so much, and it's that there is mention of so many historical characters, like so many, I can't even keep count. And these are people that were obviously known back in the 14th century, but you maybe could have not heard of them before until you read the Divine Comedy. And something that this edition does is that it has footnotes, and in these footnotes they explain who these people are and they let you know why they're important, why they're where they are. My reading experience has been enhanced threefold thanks to these footnotes. So we only have 3 cantos left. This book has been sitting on my currently reading list for more time than it should have. I easily could have finished this in the first week of September, but for some reason I just kept putting it off. And I think that it's finally time for me to stop being a little bitch about this. I want to finish the Divine Comedy tonight. It is currently 11 p.m. Hello, what am I doing awake? I'm sorry. Okay, it is currently 11 p.m. and I have decided to finally finish my divine journey. I need to finish this book. I really want to finish this book, and I am going to be taking you guys along with me. We're going to be discussing all of the highs and all of the lows and all of my thoughts and opinions as I made my way through this epic classic. This is the type of story that even if you're not a reader, you've heard about the Divine Comedy, and even if you don't know who Dante Alighieri is, you've heard of Inferno, you've heard of purgatory. Like, these concepts have grown mainstream in so many cultures, and it was so interesting to see where it all stems from. And okay, wait, no, why am I giving you guys a review when I haven't even finished the Divine Comedy? But so far, like literally 3 cantos away from finishing the Divine Comedy, I just have to say that it was a very interesting experience to be inside Dante Alighieri's mind and to see what he thinks about certain things like religion and the corruption inside of the church and the systems that we uphold as a society and the sins that we are punishing and then the sins that we're turning a blind eye to. Like, it was just really fascinating, and it was so fun to lose myself in these circles of hell and to see sort of like the distribution depending on the sins and the different types of people that we stumbled upon as we were touring Inferno next to our tour guide Virgil. Like, it was just such an insane experience. I'm going to finish the Divine Comedy today. I'm going to finish the Divine Comedy today. It's gonna happen, and it's going to happen right now. So let's get into it. That was something. It really was. I just finished reading The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, a book that I honestly never thought I would read. There is a reason that this book, this epic poem, has stood the test of time. It is such a beautiful and fascinating representation of the human condition and the journey of every person. From recognizing sin to seeking redemption and then transcending into paradise. Oh my god, not my camera blinking. Wait, I have so much to say. Please don't turn off. Okay, I had a minor freak out because my camera battery was blinking, but we're fine. We're so back. We are so back, baby. And I can't even remember what I was saying. Oh my god, okay, wait, yes. I was saying, of course, how could I forget? This is one of the most beautiful portrayals of the human condition, of life's journey, of recognizing sin and then trying to seek redemption and the power of hope and seeking transcendence. And it was, I kid you not, I think these last 4 cantos, because I was actually missing 4. I thought it was 3, but it was 4. And these last 4 cantos are literally like, oh my goodness, I literally left the best for last. Like, I can't believe I delayed my enjoyment of those last 4 cantos because they were literally the best part of Paradise. It was such an overwhelming feeling in the best sense of the word because it just felt like everything that Dante was describing, I could literally feel it in my bones. I could see it in my mind's eye, and it was so spectacular. It was like a vision. It was such an immersive experience. Honestly, when I finished The Divine Comedy, literally when I read the last 4 lines, it didn't even feel relief. I wasn't even like, oh my god, I finally finished The Divine Comedy. I was just like, I can't believe I just read that. It was such a transformative experience. I can't put it into words. I'm so sorry, but this is one of those books that you have to experience for yourself. I'm sorry. Like, okay, I do need to be honest. When I first started Paradise, I was not having a good time. Like, through Inferno, through Purgatory, I was having a grand time. I was like, I am so going to be recommending this to everyone. Like, this is so entertaining, though this is so intense, and there's so much to unpack here. There's so much symbolism. There's so much beauty, and there's just so much in those first 2 parts of The Divine Comedy. And then we reached Paradise, and that's when I really started to struggle. You know what I mean? Like, it was really hard to wrap my head around it because it was very confusing. The imagery and the descriptions that Dante was giving us, it was just so overwhelming and not in the best sense of the word. It was really hard to understand what Dante was seeing. It was an entirely new concept that I had never heard of before, and even the diagram of like Paradise was so confusing to me because at least Inferno and Purgatory, they're like levels, you know, like there's one of them is circles, another one is a mountain. This one is just like an entirely new, like what am I looking at? I really truly to this day still don't understand much of what is happening around here. Pero all of that confusion, all of those questions, all of those doubts faded away in these last 4 cantos. I just kind of lost myself as Dante was experiencing this life-altering event. I was just right there alongside with him. O light supreme, so elevated, far above our mortal understanding, bring back to my mind somewhat of what I saw, and give such vigor to this tongue of mine that I may leave but one spark of your glory behind me for the people yet unborn. Like, are you kidding? That is gorgeous. And now this man, who from the lowest pit of all the universes right up to here has witnessed one by one the souls in it, begs you to beg for him in your compassion such grace as may suffice to lift his eyes higher into the ultimate salvation. So may you scatter every single cloud that clouds his mortal being with your prayers, and let the highest pleasure be displayed. Like, Dante really put his entire soul into this book, and it shows. Oh my goodness, this is one of the most insane reading experiences that I have had, because I was really struggling with Paradise, but for some reason that little pause that I took, I spent an entire week without picking up the Divine Comedy, not even thinking about the Divine Comedy, and I think that break did me good, because I don't know what it is, like, brother, I don't even, like, I feel like I need to stand up, because, like, I just don't like, I don't know how to talk about this book, okay? Like, that is my fatal flaw. I don't know how to talk about the Divine Comedy. Like, I don't know how to explain to you guys how I just feel like a different reader after experiencing the Divine Comedy, if that makes sense. I need everybody to experience the Divine Comedy. I need everybody to go on this journey and learn about the 9 different circles of hell, which is probably most likely the most famous part of these 3 sections in the Divine Comedy, and it's also, I think, the most accessible. Inferno, I mean, because it reads like a medieval horror story, and it's full of vivid imagery, and it's so intense and insane, like the different examples of sin and how they are punished, and the different people that we get to meet. Like, again, the imagery is just so alive. Like, it is a literal movie in your head. It's alive. Like, Inferno is alive. And Purgatory and Paradise, like, they do require a bit more time. They do require a bit more dedication, but it's so worth it, my dude. Like, it is just so worth it. I feel like I need to go to sleep. Okay, like, listen, hear me out. I think that I need to sleep on this. Like, I already know my rating. I know how I feel about this book, but I don't feel like I'm being coherent enough. I feel like I'm not being eloquent enough. There are so many ideas and thoughts swirling through my brain inside of my skull. I can hardly grasp them. Like, I can hardly hold on to a single thought right now. And it's really, like, it's so upsetting, because I want to talk to you guys in depth about this book, but it's like so many thoughts are running through my brain. I can't hold on to any of them. And I just want to take a night. Okay, I want to take a night to gather my thoughts, literally gather all of them, so that we can kind of, I don't know, like, I just want to talk about the Divine Comedy, because I want to show you guys how fun it can be. I want to show you guys how intense and insane of a journey it is, and I want to convince you to read the Divine Comedy. I will do it. Even if it's the last thing that I do, I will convince you to read the Divine Comedy. And that's something that I cannot do if I don't go to sleep right now. So I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go think about how the Divine Comedy has changed me as a person and as a reader, and I want to think about what it's taught me, what I've learned. Like, I just want to think about all of these things in my bed, where I am very, very comfortable, and where I can just kind of like calm down and chill out, and kind of, it hasn't hit me that I finished the Divine Comedy. Like, I know I've only been reading it for a month, or like less than a month, because it's really not, like, it's not as dense as I thought it was going to be, so it was a lot easier to get through it. I was in an environment conducive to me reaching my goals and reading what I had to read. So, oh my goodness, yeah, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. I need to go think about what has just happened, what has just transpired. I need to think about what's going on the inside, and we will speak tomorrow, because I have things to say and you will hear them. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night's rest. Actually, I'm going to be the one sleeping. For you, it's just going to be like a second, but I hope you're enjoying. I don't even know what's been going on, but I hope you're enjoying. And we will speak, we will confer in the morning. So see you then. It is the next day, and I have finally gathered my thoughts on the Divine Comedy written by Dante Alighieri. I started reading the Divine Comedy the 18th of August, and I have finally finished it after almost a month of reading this Christian epic poem. I have finally reached its final canto. I have finally read the last few verses, and I have so many thoughts. I have so many emotions and feelings building up inside of me, and I think that it is only right for me to discuss them with you guys. And the only way to do that is to divide my thoughts by parts: Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise. And I think that each of those parts deserves a different rating and a different review, because I feel so differently about all three. There is definitely one part that I enjoyed a lot more than another. I'm going to be dividing my review into 3 parts, but then ultimately I am going to be basing off my final rating from the average rating of all 3 parts. And the very first part, how many times have I said part at this point? And we haven't even started. Okay, anyways, the very first section that we're going to be discussing is, of course, Inferno. I would have loved to have like a little look-see inside of Dante's mind, because the way that he thinks these things up, the way that his imagination works, it's just like so intense and fascinating. And I feel like I would have gone insane if I had a look inside Dante's brain, but it's just so interesting, and I would have just loved that experience. Like, this was such a mind-blowing yet mind-boggling reading journey. There's so much to unpack, so let's just get right on into it. We're following Dante and Virgil as they explore the different circles of hell, or Inferno. It's basically like a horror fantasy road trip through the worst that humanity has ever seen, and the punishments and the tortures get worse the deeper you go into hell. Like, obviously it's like, wait, I can show you the diagram. This is what Inferno looks like according to Dante. Every circle is more twisted than the last, and the punishments are so vividly grotesque. The imagery that Dante uses to describe Inferno and all of the things that he's seeing, it feels alive. It feels so real. It feels like you're right there with Dante and Virgil, seeing everything that's going down. You're seeing these people being constantly tortured with no exit. Like, there's literally no way out of this. They're just going to be tortured forever and ever. And that is because the actions that you take in your life and the way that you decide to live your life is then reflected in the afterlife. So if you were a person that committed a lot of sins, if you were a person that betrayed other people's trust, or if you had too much pride, if you were envious of others' successes, then you have your own circle in hell. Don't you worry about that. It's dark, it's dramatic, it's gruesome, and oh my goodness. Okay, wait, I don't even know if I can mention that, but also, like, I know it's a spoiler, but this was published in the 14th century, and if anything, I feel like the things that I share here will maybe motivate you to pick this up for yourself so that you can experience it for yourself. So I'm not really counting this as a spoiler. I'm just kind of counting it as an inspiration, a little nudge for you guys to pick up the Divine Comedy. When we get to the final circle of hell, which is reserved for the betrayers, we obviously have very famous betrayers in history. We of course have Cain, who betrayed his own brother. We have Judas, who obviously betrayed Jesus, and all of them have their own little subsection inside of this circle of betrayers. And then the very last, like at the bottom of everything, is Lucifer, Satan. The way that Dante describes seeing Lucifer, the way that he was frozen in place and in space and time, it just felt like I was literally living it with him. It just felt so real, and that's what I literally got body chills as I was reading that circle, because it was just so vivid. Like, the visual representation came to life, and it was so crazy how we literally have to climb up Lucifer, or like climb down Lucifer, to get to the other point, or like the other part, which is obviously Purgatory, but we're not there yet. We're still talking about Inferno. It was just an incredible depiction of sin and torture and pain and darkness and the darkest parts of humanity, how it all just kind of coagulates. I think that my favorite part of Inferno is how alive it feels. Like, I cannot stress this enough. The text literally came to life as I was reading Inferno. I love how, although this is a Christian epic poem, it's not only about the religious allegory, it's also about the historical characters and even the fictional characters. Like, we met Odysseus in Inferno, and that was such an unexpected visit. I was like, Ariana, what are you doing here? And I just loved seeing all of the different people that we got to meet in Inferno, and I do love how Dante included a couple of his public enemies in Inferno, and like, we really focused on how they were being tortured for what they did in, you know, their real life, and how they're going to forever be tortured and punished for their actions. If I had to rate Inferno, I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna say it, it's a 5 out of 5 for me, personally. It's a 5 out of 5, I'm sorry. I have so much love and fascination for Inferno. It was so interesting to be in that part of this journey, and I feel like that's the only section that I would probably reread in the future. So 5 out of 5, no question about it. Purgatory is all about hope, growth, and transformation. It's the journey of a human soul going to find redemption. It's struggling to go up the mountain but not giving up, because you have that hope of reaching paradise and seeing God and finally being cleansed of your sins and, you know, being able to leave purgatory. Because Inferno, you don't have a choice. You will be there forever. There is literally no exit. No matter how good you are, no matter how quiet you take your punishment, you will never stop being tortured. In purgatory, it's not like that. In purgatory, you do have the hope of finishing your punishment. Like, in purgatory, the punishment has a purpose. The purpose is to reach God and to reach paradise and to be amongst the angels. Those souls that we meet in purgatory, they're not eternally doomed. They're just working their way towards redemption and salvation. And that shift in tone, it really hit me hard, because in Inferno, it's all very much go, go, go. And oh my God, look at that, look at this beheaded person, look at this man being like bursting into flames. Meanwhile, in purgatory, it's all about people making their way up the mountain and silently accepting their punishment, accepting their fate, because they know that what they did is wrong, and they know that this punishment has meaning, it has a purpose. They're not just being punished to be punished, they're being punished to learn from what they did. Purgatory felt deeply human, and I loved that. I loved how different it was from Inferno. I love that it showed us a different side to this whole journey. It's slower than Inferno, but it is just as rewarding, because we get to meet so many other different people that are there for so many different reasons. And it was so interesting to see Dante confer with them and learn about their journeys and why they were there. I think it's just a really beautiful representation of the human condition and the journey that we all have to go through. Like, yeah, we're gonna struggle through life and we're going to keep falling down, but we always have to get back up. And we're always going to learn from our mistakes, no matter how difficult we think they may be. There's always something to learn, and there's always space to be better. If I had to rate Purgatory, I think I would give it a very solid 4 out of 5 star. You know, it's slower paced, but it's still oh so rewarding. It makes you reflect, it makes you think about your own life and how you think about certain situations and things. Once we reach the top of the mountain, we do get to the gates of heaven. We do meet an angel. He does cleanse us of all of our sins, because at the beginning of Purgatory, Dante is marked in his forehead with all of the sins. And as he's making his way through this mountain, wait, I should show you guys the diagram. As Dante is making his way through these different levels of the mountain, at the end up here, he does get to the gates of heaven, and he does meet an angel there who finally rids him of all of his sins, and he can finally enter paradise. So paradise. How do I even begin? How do I even begin to describe a paradise? I don't want to talk about it. Can we just skip it? Just look at this diagram and tell me what you understand from it. Tell me if you understand a single thing that you see in this diagram. And if you tell me that you do, you're lying. You're literally lying to my face, because there is no way that you understand what is happening here. Ironically, like, it's supposed to be a reward, but it felt like the hardest part of this journey. Like, we're being constantly overwhelmed by these visions of angels, and there's always this angelic choir following us around. There are so many iconic saints and beings of heavenly light. Literally, Dante faints like twice as he's going through paradise, because the things that he is seeing are so overwhelming to his brain that he just can't take it anymore, and he just faints. Like, his systems just shut down because he cannot take what he is seeing. And in paradise, there's also a very important change, because we are no longer being guided by Virgil, which was Dante's master, Dante's everything. We are now being guided by Beatrice. And Beatrice, oh my goodness, Beatrice was like Dante's lover, but like not even, because in real life, when they were both alive, I think I read somewhere that they had only seen each other twice. They were supposed to be together, but then Beatrice died too young. But Dante se quedó frustrado, literal. He could never like truly find someone that he loved as much as he loved and idolized Beatrice. Literally, from seeing her twice, he was already simping after her. And the way that he describes Beatrice, like every single canto up here in paradise, he takes from 5 to 10 verses to describe how beautiful her smile is and how stunning she is as a person, and how he can't stop staring at her. And like at this one point, they were looking at these angels, but he couldn't stop staring at Beatrice. And it was just like, I love a man that simps. I love a man that yearns. I love a man that knows what he wants and is not afraid to be an absolute 100% simp about it. And that is what Dante is for Beatrice. Honestly, Dante should have written romance, because he would have killed it with the descriptions. He would have killed it with like maybe a second chance romance, or I wouldn't say enemies to lovers, because Dante just yearns. He yearns so much. I don't think he wouldn't want to waste any time with the two main characters being enemies or like being at odds. So he would want to, like, he would definitely have I'm sorry, this is such like a random little thing that we don't need to talk about, but it's just so interesting to think, because he would definitely use like the forced proximity, the fake dating, the second chance trope, the childhood friends to lovers. Like, Dante is that boy. He would have been such a great romance writer. If I had to describe paradise in one word, I think I would use demanding. It's not that paradise is hard, it's just that you really need to take your time with it. You really need to dedicate so much of your brain power to read Paradise, to truly understand and to truly appreciate the beauty of what Dante is seeing and describing. You just need to lock in. You really need to lock in for this one, because it can be such a confusing experience if you let it be. I even took a break when I was reading Paradise, because honestly, I was so focused on not understanding what was going on. I kind of lost a little bit of the enjoyment of reading, because every time that I read a canto, I was just like, what's going on? I don't understand what's happening. I don't like what's happening because I don't understand it. I want to go back to Purgatory. I would even take another round through Inferno if it means that I don't have to be here in Paradise, because I was just not getting it. But when I came back from that pause, it just felt like everything clicked. It felt like I could finally understand what was happening. I could finally just let myself go and experience the beauty of this journey with Dante and Beatrice. Dante literally sees God. He sees the Virgin Mary. He sees Jesus. He sees Adam. He sees Eve. Like, he sees all of these iconic saints and angels and heavenly beings, and we're all there right alongside with him to experience it. And it's an overwhelming experience, at times confusing, but the reward is so worth it. So that's why Paradise is demanding, but for good reason. It's worth it to put in the work. It's worth it to struggle through, because once you reach, especially those last 4 cantos, you're going to ascend. Like, I felt myself ascending right next to Dante. It was such a beautiful reading experience, and I'm not even kidding. Like, I truly felt like I was finally getting it, and I was really, really enjoying Paradise for those last 4 cantos. If I had to rate a Paradise on a scale from 1 to 5, I'd have to give it, I'm so sorry, a 3.5 out of 5 star. It wasn't my favorite part, but I do understand. Like, I did at the end see the beauty of what was happening, but it was more so a test of endurance, if anything. So even though I could appreciate the beauty at the end, it was more so a test of my own strength. And I mean, I succeeded in that test, but it did take a while. So that was definitely the part that I took the longest with. I think that Inferno and Purgatory I read in like 2 weeks, and then Paradise, oh boy, that's literally where the other 2 weeks of this month-long read went, because Paradise, it just takes a lot out of you. But again, it's worth it. So would I recommend the Divine Comedy? Okay, no, wait. I would. That's the craziest thing about it. I would 100% recommend the Divine Comedy, but I do say this with a little warning on the side. This is not a book that you can just casually pick up one day and just make your way through it when you're feeling like it. This is a book that you need to dedicate time to. This is a book that you need to commit to. This is a book that you have to spend a lot of time with, and you need to reflect on the things that Dante is saying and speaking about. I would recommend the Divine Comedy, but I do think that it is very important to choose the right edition, because if it hadn't been for these footnotes, I genuinely don't think that I would have enjoyed reading the Divine Comedy as much as I did. Not my camera flashing, like I have so much to say, stop silencing me. We are back, and I just want to say that I do ultimately really recommend you reading the Divine Comedy. I love that this isn't only about punishment and sin, it's more so about transformation, you know, going from the depths of sin to making our way toward redemption until we reach transcendence. Like, this is a journey that I think we can all relate to, because it's a very beautiful symbol of our own journey, you know, our life's journey. And I think that there is something for all of us here, whether you like fantasy or contemporary, or if you're just looking for a book that makes you think and feel. I think the Divine Comedy is for you if you commit to it. If you give it a chance, and if you truly try your best, I think you can take a lot away from reading the Divine Comedy. So me, myself, Throne of Pages, Bella. I would highly recommend you guys read the Divine Comedy. It's very hard work, but it is very, very rewarding. This is my final look through the Divine Comedy. It was definitely a journey. I'm so, like, I can't believe we're actually here. I can finally say I finished the Divine Comedy, and this is great. It's so nice to be able to say I finished the Divine Comedy after wanting to read it for so long. I'm so proud of myself. Like, I'm really, truly so proud of myself. I hope you guys are too. And I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this in-depth review of my experience reading the Divine Comedy. If you've read the Divine Comedy before, please let me know in the comments below what your favorite parts were, what you thought of Inferno, Purgatory, and Paradise. Did you struggle with Paradise as much as I did, or am I just crazy? And if you've been thinking of reading the Divine Comedy, let me know if this video kind of helped you see that it's not as intimidating as it looks. It's not as scary, it's not as hard. You just have to try, because if I can do it, so can you. So I believe in you, you can do this. If this book has been on your TBR for the longest time, now is the time to pick it up. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I do have a Patreon where I post exclusive content. I host readathons, reading sprints, and a monthly book club. And this weekend, I am hosting a 24-hour
live stream.
I can't believe this is happening. Like, this has also been in the works for so long. I did one back in 2023, and I literally had the time of my life. I also got sick right after, so I'm really hoping that this time around I don't get sick. It's going to be so fun, because we're going to be having reading sprints, we're going to be doing bookshelf scavenger hunts, like there's going to be games, segments, and things like that. There's going to be a Q&A. Like, it's just going to be the best time, and I would love to have you guys there. So if you're interested, the link is down below as always. I think that without further ado, it's time to put this book in my shelf. I don't even know where this goes. I don't have space for it, I think. Wait, okay, let me see if we can find a space for it together. So it would go up here. I mean, I guess I could take away some space from, oh, did you guys know that I read War and Peace? I don't really talk about it, but it's like a thing that happened a couple of years ago at this point. But yeah, I read War and Peace. Maybe I can just do this. And then that's where it would go. But now there's like this entire space for other books to be there. We'll see. I'll have to think about it. But for now, I can finally put the Divine Comedy in my shelf. Let's go. And with that, goodbye.
Hey Jimmy, you nice. Keep going.